Welcome to the ultimate guide to number phenomena profession. What's the differences between number phenomena and other birthday numbers? Number energy, Bazi, fortune telling, MBTI. Alright, I see this question, so let's address it. Every question matters, since number phenomena is all our unique life knowledge. Before we answer how number phenomena differs from birthday numbers, number energy, Bazi fortune telling, or MBTI, we need to think about something first. We first need to figure out one thing. When you seek out things like number energy, Bazi fortune telling, personality tests, and all these different methods, what is your underlying purpose? Teacher, what do you think? My purpose, my objective, is to hire better talent, or to find a better business partner or life partner, or maybe I hope to know about my future destiny. Ultimately, what you want is to gain insight into the patterns of life in advance through some method. Isn't that right? For example, as we just mentioned, you want to know how to have more helpful people around you, how to make your career go more smoothly. To put it bluntly, you want to have better control over the trajectory of your life, don't you? Or, for example, when you use your birth date to calculate your number, what number are you? What number are your colleagues? Isn't it also to better understand your own strengths and weaknesses? To know who you get along with better? To figure out what kind of things you are suited for? So, aren't you doing this to have more chances to make the right decisions within the limited span of your life experiences? Also, nowadays, many companies use MBTI to select employees and manage personnel. You visit a fortune teller to find out if investing next year is right for you. You hire a fengshui master to adjust your environment, hoping your luck and wealth will improve. The truth is, behind all these actions, there's only one underlying logic. You hope to have more opportunities than others to make the right choice. Once we understand this, we'll realize why there are so many methods out there in the market: fortune telling, numerology, life numbers, meihua divination, and other such techniques. That's the underlying reason and principle behind it, don't you think? Because the most valuable resource each of us has is our actual time, and that's the fairest thing in the world. Think about it. If you're a worker earning only $1,000 a month, you have just 24 hours in a day. And even the world's richest person also has only 24 hours in a day. Whether you're a fast food restaurant employee or the head of a nation, we need to understand that no one gets any extra or special allocation of time. Time never favors or is biased toward anyone. Each of us lives with the awareness of our mortality. So, given that this resource is both extremely fair and extremely limited for everyone, we must understand what truly determines the quality of our lives.
You are now watching the 100 Essential Questions Fully Answered, the ultimate guide to number phenomena profession.
It's not about whether you have time, but whether you use your time wisely. This is the real dividing line between poverty and wealth, between struggle and smooth sailing. Why are some people wealthy? Because they not only know how to use their own time efficiently, but also know how to use their money to buy other people's time to achieve their own goals. You have to understand, many wealthy people are well aware of one thing. If you lose money, you can earn it back. But if you lose time, it's truly gone forever. You can never get it back. So how should you use your money? How should you use your material resources? They should be used to allow your time to be spent on things that are more valuable to you. So as long as we can spend our time on things that are more valuable to ourselves, naturally, those who understand this principle become people who stand above others. Now you might ask, teacher, what does this have to do with fortune telling, MBTI, numerology, or feng shui? Of course, it's related, because these methods exist precisely to meet the market demand of everyone who longs to achieve class mobility within a limited amount of time. If you think these things exist, for example, when someone sees a fortune teller, the fortune teller says you'll meet petty villains next month, or your finances won't go smoothly next year. The person hears this and thinks, oh no, what should I do? Then the fortune teller continues, come, I'll give you a talisman or feng shui item to ward off misfortune. If the person buys the feng shui item, I've bought this so-called magical item. Think about what this person is actually doing. Isn't he trying to use money to exchange for his future time, hoping it won't be wasted by petty people or troubled by financial loss? What he really wants is to secure his time for the coming year, to be spent on people who can bring him opportunities, that is, on the so-called benefactors the fortune teller talks about. That's the real reason this customer buys these talismans and treasures from the fortune teller, isn't it? The same logic applies here. Let's talk about how many people spend money on these birthday numbers. For example, you're a certain number, he's another number, and people spend thousands of dollars to buy these mass-produced lucky number pendants. I've seen a lot of people buying these pendants. Why do they do it? It's because they hope that by doing so, they can avoid some unnecessary troubles. Unnecessary troubles, unnecessary so-called bad luck, unnecessary petty people and gossip. They think that by doing this, they can accumulate some good luck to help them get through the days ahead. Or take those who use MBTI to select candidates from hundreds of applicants, isn't it? Just to ensure valuable resources, especially time and trust, are invested in people most likely to be the right fit. Everyone, listen carefully to the true essence behind all of this. The reason why there are so many of these products is simply because many of us genuinely hope to allocate our valuable resource, namely our precious time, effectively and efficiently on things that are truly valuable. That is the fundamental reason these industries exist, isn't it? So we need to understand what an IQ tax really is. An IQ tax is when you've already spent your money before you even understand what something actually is. Why is that? In every lesson I teach, what we talk about is the underlying cause. What I share with you is always the essence behind things. Only when you truly understand the root cause and the essence behind something can you possibly see the whole story clearly, right? You are now watching 100 Essential Questions Fully Answered, the ultimate guide to a number phenomena profession. That's right. So now we must understand one thing. When you use these methods, your goal is to do more valuable things through effective practice. That's absolutely right. Everyone has the desire to improve, and everyone hopes for a better life for themselves, for their future, and for their family's future. But you must understand something even more important. The tool you use must be accurate enough. It needs to be precise enough. Just like when you use a telescope, you want to see the future. You think that by looking through the telescope, you can clearly see the direction ahead in your own future. But have you ever thought about the fact that what you want to see is your own future? Here's the problem. Only you can live your own life, no one else can live it for you. If you're using this telescope, but it's not actually designed to calculate information about your life, and it's pointed in the wrong direction, then what you're seeing isn't your future at all. You might ask, teacher, what do you mean by that? Let's break it down one by one. Think about it. You use MBTI to hire employees. You try to find the right person. We need to understand MBTI divides people into 16 personality types. How many people are there in the world? 8 billion. If we divide people in the most conventional way, each type corresponds to hundreds of millions of people. So you'll find that within the same personality type, there can be top sales champions, there can be people who are highly competitive, and there can also be very introverted people who don't like to talk. So when you use this kind of classification to select people, will the conclusions you get be accurate? Obviously not. For example, if you use your birthday to calculate your number, have you ever thought about the fact that there are tens of millions of people in the world who have the same number as you? Does that mean their lives are exactly the same as yours? Do they have the same profession, follow the same relationship path, have the same family, education, personality, and way of thinking as you? You must understand that everyone is unique. Now, let's think about the 8 characters, Bazi, again. You use the 8 characters to predict your fortune for next year. But do you even know what they are? They're just the year, month, day, and hour of your birth. Around the world, tens of thousands are born at the same year, month, and hour. Some people may have the same 8 characters as me, but their family backgrounds are different, and their fengshui environments are different. Our facial features and destinies are completely different, right? Isn't that what you've been told? Very well, let's think about this. Doesn't the world have something called twins? We need to understand that twins are born at the same time, with the same 8 characters, same year, month, and day, in the same family, living in the same environment, with the same faces and features. Their 8 characters are identical, their feng shui is the same, and their original family is the same. But we need to realize that as every pair, the paths they take in life are completely different. One becomes a researcher, another becomes an actor. One has a happy marriage, while the other experiences repeated failures. Every single choice they make in their work, relationships, and daily life is not synchronized at all. So at this point, I believe all of you smart people have understood. Do you still believe that the same calculation formula can work out completely different futures for each unique individual? Do you still believe that using a math calculation logic can accurately predict your one-of-a-kind life? You are now watching 100 Essential Questions Fully Answered, the ultimate guide to number phenomena profession. You might think you've gotten a telescope to see your own destiny, but in reality, what you're holding is a lens that someone else has polished for you. What you see isn't actually your own future. So, on this basis, are you still willing to spend thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars to buy those so-called magical tools, treasures, feng shui items, or lucky number display that are mass-produced with standardized templates? Do you still believe that those things can truly change the situation you are facing in your life? Don't forget, dear friends, the only thing you cannot use for experimentation is your own life. Life is the only thing we cannot take lightly. You may wonder, teacher, you've said so much. So what's the difference between number phenomena and other methods? The phenomenon of numbers aligns with the comprehensive life information unique to each individual. This is not just a slogan, it's what our team has upheld for 14 years, committed to research, teaching, and outreach. Over 14 years, we have served countless families, individuals, and businesses, with tens of thousands of successes. Over these 14 years, many well-known media outlets and large companies have also approached us. They recognize our professionalism and know that we have the capability to provide truly expert numbers, analysis, and high-value products. For example, a fairly prominent media company once contacted us, hoping we could customize lucky number products for different groups of people, such as students or executives. And also for housewives, they wanted us to assign numbers uniformly and turn them into products. From a business perspective, they believed that with our accuracy, as long as we did it this way, the products would definitely sell well and make a massive profits. Yes, they were certain it would be a blockbuster product. But we turned down all of these proposals one by one. Why? Because we know all too well that this so-called mass-produced luck not only won't make someone better, but could very likely destroy the valuable life experience and strength they've accumulated over decades. This is a key point I've emphasized many times in my courses. Any change in one digit of a number combination at the beginning or the end will affect all aspects of a person's life, causing changes in information at every level. Yes, you heard that right. You might think it's just about picking a lucky number or simply changing a lucky ending digit or choosing a lucky number, but that's not the case. We've been studying numbers for 14 years, and we know all too well that even a tiny change in the number can impact your health, career, family, emotions, your performance and income, every relationship you have, every dimension of your life, and every aspect at every moment. It can bring about completely different effects. So when some so-called masters on the market give inaccurate readings and create so-called lucky or unlucky number products, if they have no effect, that's actually a good thing. But the truth is, these so-called lucky number products can actually have real negative effects in your life. Some people might think this kind of industry is just about talking about luck and misfortune, right? That's wrong, completely wrong. When you think this way, you're already handing your life over to an irresponsible unknown, namely those so-called lucky products and so-called lucky numbers. If those so-called masters only make your numbers inaccurate or just bring you a bit of good luck or help you avoid some bad luck, that might still be acceptable. But in reality, they can directly overturn the original path of your life. Your strengths and all the resources you once had will be disrupted. When you think you are moving upward, you are actually step by step heading off the right path, moving closer to an unknown abyss. This is not an exaggeration. We understand well the role numbers play in our lives. Because every day I encounter all kinds of extremely real cases. Many people who have changed their numbers through these so-called masters have experienced all sorts of negative events in their lives. That's why in our courses, the teacher often tells everyone that every point of knowledge we discuss and the function of every number must be kept genuine, practical, and approached with sincerity. Because the one thing in this world that we must never take lightly is our very own life. The phenomenon of numbers is precisely the channel that carries the information of our entire life journey. So please remember, this is not just another form of fortune-telling, nor is it a branch of some particular school of thought. It is a holographic reflection of your life. From your ID number and phone number, these unique pieces of personal information to your house number, company registration numbers, license plate numbers, group identifiers you, your family, loved ones, and colleagues are part of. Every combination of numbers reflects your past, present, and future. This is what the phenomenon of numbers is about. So the biggest difference between this and other methods is that other approaches use a standardized formula, like factory-made labels applied to completely different people, whereas the phenomenon of numbers is based on your unique information. It carries real, tangible, heartfelt lives of you and your family, and the continuation for the next generation. Everyone hopes to devote limited resources to things of high value. Everyone wants to avoid detours, do more of the right things. The phenomena of numbers is an accurate, scientific, systematic way to observe and improve life. When you ask the difference between it and other methods, my answer is other methods use a single ruler to measure everyone, but the phenomena of numbers uses your own body temperature, your life process, and the information written over your lifetime. It's not just a tool, because the phenomenon of numbers is your life itself. Students who have taken my courses often say, "Teacher, I feel nothing is more important than studying the phenomena of numbers because the phenomenon of numbers is my life. Even if we don't study or observe it, you are still living it throughout your life." Why don't you truly understand your life earlier when you are actually experiencing it? Find the underlying root information behind every difficulty and every hope for improvement in your life. Earlier number phenomenon can bring each of us an opportunity to choose control and improve in life. For those of us able to recognize the phenomena of numbers and learn about it, we are truly fortunate because from the moment you start studying numbers, your life gains the opportunity to make choices. Everyone spends their whole life experiencing the manifestation of numbers.
Every time you learn, it is a profound insight into the essence of life. Because what you are studying is complete knowledge about life itself.